Hi everyone, the Mature Simmer here. It's Friday again, and that means another mod's worth noting. So let's get going. So yeah, this week, after being shut down for quite a while, there's a lot of mods available, so this is going to be a little longer mods worth noting than we've had for a while. So sit back, enjoy, and hopefully you see something that you like. So the first new mod that showed up, a pretty simple one, available only for the PC, but it's only sleep at night. So you're only able to sleep between the times of 8 p.m. or 7 a.m. During the day, you can't take a nap. And if you're a hardworking farmer, get out in the field. Why would you want to take a nap? The next one, PC only as well, and it's from Viper GTS 96. They've been putting quite a few things out on FS22, and it's AI tire tracks, and it simply allows helpers to leave tire track marks on the ground. So if you want to see tire tracks all over your map and you're using a lot of AI helpers, this is a way to do that. Next one is Vehicle Sail System Customizer. This mod is also available just for PC, but this one does quite a bit, and basically what it does is it allows you to tweak the vehicle system in the shop. You can set a maximum possible discount. You can set how many offers there are, how many new offers, probability with which new offers emerge, probability with which machines sold will be taken over into the used goods trade, the minimum and maximum duration of the availability of those offers, and the minimum value of machines that may appear in the used goods trade. You do have to set this and edit it in the XML, so if you're going to work with it, you should be comfortable opening up an XML file and editing it. And there are presets, so basically the maximum possible discount is 15%. The likelihood that new offers are created is doubled from the base game, so the duration for which offers are available is increased to 2 to 2.5 days. That's German for days, so I'm assuming the modder is German. The number of offers possible at the same time is increased to 10. The number of offers occurring at the same time is increased to 50. And then all machines sold are used in used goods trade. So you can see an example here where they've got the default of 15, and as opposed to the base in the game that appears at this point, where things can be up to 50%, if you want to tweak this down, and I'm assuming if you want to tweak it up and just make them heavily discounted, 70 to 80% off, you can. And then it just creates sale offers based on all these settings. So it definitely gives you some ability to impact that new section of the shop. It's something that we've not had available to us before, nothing that I've seen. So a mod that's available across all platforms, which is a great thing, from LSMT modding team, Stefan, again, another prolific modder that usually has a good amount of things up, is this new production land bakery. It produces bread and cakes, uses various inputs. You can see flour, sugar, and water for bread, and cake needs flour, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, and strawberries. And it's a $50,000 purchase price, so it's in line with what you would expect for production buildings that are in-game, so the modder did a good job of aligning that. I love seeing additional productions. I think this is one of the areas the game can really be extended, because really the sky's the limit in whatever people can think up in production capability. So I love seeing new productions, and this is another one. So I'm not quite sure why this one caught my attention, other than I love Minions. But so there you go, best shot I've ever seen. But just like people get customized license plates, why not have the ability to have a weight that speaks to your inner child and says, this is what I think of my farm equipment, and this is what I want to do with it. So if you want a cute little weight for 900, that's a little under 1,000 kilograms, there you go. And look at that. It's even got light up eyes. Only available for the PC, but if this is up your alley, there you go. Yeah, I typically don't do implements simply because or vehicles, because there's just a lot of them, and there's constantly things being released. But certainly ones that are larger or maybe older equipment do sometimes catch my eye. This one certainly did. It's one that I believe was around in FS19, but it's the Capello Quasar HS16, so 16-row corn header. Definitely gives you a wider working width. You can see the combines that it functions with, and it's available across all platforms. So the next one I'm going to bring attention to is Auger Wagon with Lime from TF2020 Mods. Again, another modder that we've seen quite a bit of since FS22 came out. And basically this one's pretty simple. It adds lime and pig food to all auger wagons. So if you've had that issue, which I certainly have had, of, oh, I'd love to buy this auger wagon, but it only does fertilizer, this can solve the problem. But once again, you've obviously got to weigh that with if you're trying to stick with the intent of the vehicle, because I'm imagining a lot of the mods that are created, or a lot of the vehicles that are created that are limited, probably are also limited in real life. So if you've got that balance between realism and ease of use. So this is another simple mod, buyable large stack of bales. If you've got a need for significant quantities of bales, you can see you can do up to 30 bales at a time here. This lets you purchase all the types, as you can see, grass, hay, straw, silage, in the various configurations. So if this is something that would be of use to you, it's out there. For the PC only, very simple, but could be very useful. I know I've certainly sometimes cursed the dark when I've been working and been like, I can't see beyond my travel distance, and I end up running off fields and so forth. Increase light range. Simply increases the range of high beam lights. So without the mod, this is what it looks like, and with the mod, just a broader reach. So if you're looking for this kind of a change on your PC, there you have it. This mod may be extremely useful to everyone, and luckily it's available across all platforms. This is a toolbox that lets you carry it with you anywhere you want, allowing you to repair vehicles anywhere on the map, so you don't have to drive to a repair point or a workshop. You do have to face the box, with the handle side up and with the box facing to whatever you'd like to work on. And the nice thing is, if you're in a hurry and you're playing your game and you forget the toolbox in the field or crop, when you reload the game, it'll be found where you originally placed it. So it's a toolbox that can't be lost. So all kinds of great features with this thing. All right, so we had one from these folks earlier from LSMT Modding Team Stefan. Here's Aunt Emma Shop. This is not a production. This is a location where you can sell your productions. So, for 40,000, you can place it, and then it literally lets you sell, I think, every base production in the game. You can see, flour, sunflower oil, eggs, cakes, bread, potato, so forth and so on. So, if you're looking for a sell point for your products, if you're perhaps playing a map that just has 1 or 2 sell points for the production items, this can give you some additional options. So another supply mod, package of premium pallets and bags. Basically lets you buy everything in large pallets and individual bags. So this is a good picture of kind of what they have available. So you're basically, I think, looking at about 9 different items you can buy. And, you can check out these prices to see if they're in line with what you'd like to play with. And if this makes sense to you, you can pick that up. So going along with some other things, if you're having difficulty making some of the products that are required to make more complex products, sugar, flour, butter, and raisins, for example, this is a mod across all platforms that lets you just buy those items and get them into your production buildings. So rather than creating the production chain, if you'd rather not do that, for example, putting the mill in to turn your grain into flour and then getting that flour over the bakery, you could just go ahead and buy flour and then transport it to the bakery yourself. So if you're looking for something like that, here you go. For those who love cutting trees but don't like picking up trees, you've got the mod that you've been waiting for on the PC, Fleegle Timber Runner Auto Load Wood. So this gives you the 3 lengths of log trailers. But the thing I do like with this mod versus what I've seen on others is you can see the location. So this is a perfect example where the green shows on the trailer where you'd be loading and the red shows where you're unloading. The arrows are the direction that those items will be placed. So in this case, you'd have logs that laid this way that would basically fill in this way, and you can rotate that. And I can't really show it easily here, but if you run this video, there's a segment that will show them changing this on the fly, and the logs that were now laying this way suddenly start going at a 90-degree angle and laying this way and just stacking themselves on top. But you can pick specifically which area of your trailer you're loading and then clearly see where you're unloading, so that when you pull up to that unload point, you know where you're dropping things off. The other piece of this is you can change, the piles on your trailer from 1 to 4 piles, and then manually switch between them, which is what that load area is. Appears to be a pretty functional mod. I haven't tested this myself yet. I probably will do that at some point, because if I do logging, the only way I do it is if I have autoloaders. So at this point, now in FS22, I've got something that would let me at least consider that. So the next one that caught my attention, once again, sometimes some older equipment isn't always available. So these are some older models, the 6300 and 6405 John Deere. I think they only have pictures. Oh no, that's the 6405. So they do have both. And you can adjust them with closed or open cabins, 4x4, 4x2, so forth and so on. But this is available for all platforms, so if you're a JD fan and love the green, here's some more options for you. So the next mod for PC only, but definitely something interesting and unique that I've not seen before, tip side HUD. This basically gives you a graphical indicator of the tip side. You can change the settings of it as well, color, the position of where it sits, text and so forth, and the size. But the benefit here is then if you turn off the F1 menu, you're going to have an icon, as you can see here, that shows, in this case, this trailer's tipping on the left. It helps you be able to tell what's happening with your implements and not have to guess on the tip side, and plus you're obviously able to make changes to it, but then see those immediately without having to continually open your help menu. So pretty cool mod in my perspective, definitely something a little unique. So if you're interested, you can look that one up. Another mod from Viper, the crosshair mod. It disables or lets you set different color crosshairs, which also have different visibilities. So you can see the grab crosshair is green, and so you can go ahead and do that on the PC if you're interested. On the PC, again, another mod that definitely could provide some interesting information, because if you're like me, you've certainly had the position where you've got a tractor, it theoretically has the right horsepower, but you're operating on some hills and suddenly the thing's moving at 1 mile an hour. Load HUD will show you the current engine load in percent, and it basically adds it into your speedometer here, as you can see. And it's the average of the last 60 frames. So obviously, as the load changes on your vehicle, it's going to update here. So this can be helpful to be able to tell how hard your tractor's working and if you need a change or can continue using what you're using. So this mod is one from FS19 that's returned additional field info. This is one I absolutely loved, and so I'm happy to see it back. Basically because it gives you the area of each field and the current land, the land area, and so forth. So I've always been guessing in FS22 how big my fields are, or having to go to the contract menu and hope that maybe that field is either up on a contract. Also here in the sale, you can now see, along with just the value, you can see the area. So this is a big one. This is certainly one I'll be using. But if you've been looking for this, it is here. So I know another popular one with the JD fans, the 8R series, is now available within the game through this mod from SIID Modding. So as you can see, many models available, lots of configurations. Enjoy your JD 8R tractor. So from Mantrid here on the PC, we've got engine starter, which again is back from previous versions. So this lets you start the engine when you drive off. It's got some features to quick start. It's also got some interesting additions that you can do a lot of things with the engine off, on the assumption, as you can see with the parenthetical comments, of, hey, these things would probably operate in real life because of these points. So, there's reasons that they think they can operate, but it also does continue with some of the realism where if the implement requires the PTO, the engine will start before the PTO is available. Again, PC only, but this is available now. So here's another one for buying production inputs, except I believe this one lets you buy all of them versus the one I reviewed or showed you a little bit earlier that simply gave you the 4 choices. It lets you do 1,000 liters or up to the fill level. So, and it looks like it just happens here. So there's the 1,000, but in this case, then they also bought 32,000, and it doesn't really explain how they're getting the pricing, but that's neither here nor there. It gives you this option, and it's something you may want to explore on the PC if, once again, you're just looking to get your productions running, but don't necessarily want to do the work to get that material there. So for the PC, this is another one that is interesting. Damage bar selection. The damage of the currently selected item is shown in the HUD. So you can see an example below where you've got a Valtra tractor with a weight and then an implement behind it. And as you toggle each of those, you can see the display, the repair percentage changes, so that you're able to tell as you go through things if there's something you need to repair without necessarily looking in other ways. So one of the pain points that I've seen with a lot of folks, and certainly that I experienced when I started doing things on Elm Creek, is the beehive pallet spawner basically takes one pallet, and so you constantly have to keep an eye on the honey coming out of your beehives because it fills up, and then you've got to deal with that. So across all platforms, you can now get the beehive pallet spawner big, which gives you the ability to spawn 3 honey pallets. So if you want to expand that, here's your chance. So, and as I've said, near and dear to my heart are always additional productions. So here's another one, seed production, where you can take wheat, barley, oats, corn, sorghum, and produce seeds. Across all platforms, pretty nice building, pretty nice mod here, and if you'd like that, it's available. So across various types, from Alien Jim, the creator of No Man's Land, you've got a placeable pack farmhouses. So going with that theme of No Man's Land, these are pretty simple. You can start with a simple mat, tent, a log cabin, and then a couple other tent configurations. It's across all platforms, but if you're looking for something where you're just starting out, maybe doing a survival series on your map, these might be an interesting way to give yourself a farmhouse.